Good day, everyone. We are going to discuss the CUET economics paper for the year 2024 today. So let us start without much ado. So the question number one, dash is the market where economic agents can freely exchange their endowments with each other. So you are aware about the fact that in centrally planned economy, it is the government that takes all the decisions. Whereas aggregate demand and aggregate supply based economy, basically they represent a kind of economy which is either demand dominated or supply. However, in a market economy, both the forces demand and supply play equal role and the economic agents freely exchange their endowments. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option number one, that is market economy. Let us move to question number two. Which of the following are correct statements? Statement number one is marginal utilities change in the total utility due to consumption of one additional unit of the good. This is absolutely correct. Two indifference curves can intersect each other. This can never happen. This means that the statement is incorrect. Option number C is marginal utility becomes zero at the level when total utility remains constant. Children, you understand that marginal utility is change in total utility. So if TU is constant, MU would certainly be zero. That means C is also correct. Diminishing marginal rate of substitution does not affect indifference curve. You understand this, that due to diminishing MRS, indifference curve is convex. Therefore, it certainly affects indifference curve. Hence, statement D is incorrect. And indifference curve slopes downwards from left to the right. This is a correct statement. Therefore, statement number A, C, and E, these three are correct. And hence our correct option is option number 2. That is A, C, and E. Let us move to question number 3. You have to match the two lists that are given here. Equilibrium. At equilibrium, you understand that whatever the consumers are planning and the firms are planning in the market, they match each other. So A is related to 1. Excess supply in the market means supply is more than demand. So B is 3. Inferior goods are those whose demand is inversely related to income. So C's correct answer is 2. And price ceiling imply that government is imposing an upper limit on the price of the good. So D is matched to 4. Hence 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. Where is it? I think there is a misprint in the question. Option number 2 is correct. A is 1, B is 3, C is 2. C is 2. So it is, I think there is a misprint. Make it 2 and D is 4. Right? Let us move on to question number 4. Where elasticity of demand is 1 at every point on the demand curve. This curve is known as rectangular hyperbola. We are aware about it. If the demand curve is throughout unit elastic, अगर एक demand curve के हर एक point पर elasticity 1 है, तो उसकी shape कैसी होती है? Rectangular hyperbola. Next, according to the theory of consumer behavior, the inequality that is given here, P1x1 plus P2x2 is less than equal to M, is called as consumers. See, the correct answer to this could be 2 and 3 both, but NCERT says that it is 3. Therefore, we'll go with 3, budget constraint. Choose the correct statements from the following. Adam Smith is termed as father of modern economics. The statement is absolutely correct. He is termed as the father of modern economics. J.M. Keynes gave the theory of income, output, employment. The statement is also correct. In 1936, his book was published. Four-sector model. In four-sector model, aggregate demand is C plus I plus G plus X minus M. यानी कंजम्पशन, इन्वेस्टमेंट, गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग एंड नेट एक्सपोर्ट्स, ये स्टेटमेंट भी ठीक है. स्टोर ऑफ वैल्यू इज द प्राइमरी फंक्शन ऑफ मनी. नो, प्राइमरी फंक्शंस दो ही है मनी के. वन इज मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज, अनदर इज मेजर ऑफ वैल्यू. सो स्टोर ऑफ वैल्यू इज द सेकेंडरी फंक्शन ऑफ मनी. इसका मतलब ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है. तो माय करेक्ट आंसर शुड बी ए, बी एंड सी. यस, ऑप्शन नंबर 2 is the correct one. Right? Let us move further. Question number 7. Rearrange the given statements in proper chronological sequence in an ascending order. In an ascending order means starting from the earliest to the latest. Now let us see general theory of employment, interest and money. मैंने अभी अभी आपको बताया, this theory was given in the year 1936. Mahalanobis was made a fellow of British Royal Society. This happened in 1950s. An inquiry into the nature and cause of wealth of nation. This book was written by Adam Smith somewhere in 1776. Economic consequences of peace by Keynes. This was written in 1919, which means that my correct option should be C, D, A, B. C, D, A, B. So the correct option is option number 1, C, D, A, B. If there is no government and no foreign trade. Now children understand, अगर government नहीं है तो there is neither government spending, यानी government spending भी zero है, taxes भी zero हैं. अगर foreign trade नहीं है तो exports भी zero हैं और imports भी zero हैं. इसका मतलब all the four are zero. Hence the correct option is option number 3. G is equal to T is equal to M is equal to X is equal to 0. Next, the value of nominal GDP is 1100 and the value of real GDP is 1000. Children, we are aware that what is GDP deflator? GDP deflator is nominal GDP upon real GDP into 100, which means it should be 1100 upon 1000 into 100. Or maybe even if I ignore 100, that according to the given one, it should be 1.1. So the correct option is option number 2, right? Let us proceed further. Identify the correct statements. Stocks are defined over a period of time. No. Stocks are defined at a point of time, which implies that statement number A is incorrect. Flows are defined over a period of time. Yes. It is the flows that are defined over a period of time. Flows are defined at a particular point of time. No. Stocks are defined at a particular point of time. And D, stocks are defined at a particular point of time. Yes. So this statement is also correct. GVA at FC plus indirect tax minus subsidies give me GVA at MP. You know that the difference between factor cost and market price is net indirect tax. When we add net indirect tax to the factor cost, we get market price, which means option number E is also correct. Therefore, the correct statements are B, D, and E. B, D, and E, which means option number 2 is correct. Question number 11 पर आते हैं. If the supply of final goods is assumed to be infinitely elastic at constant price over a short period of time, aggregate output is determined solely by the value of AD. Right? This is the statement of effective demand principle. You are aware it is effective demand principle. We know that in short period, the supply of final goods, that is the aggregate supply in the economy, is assumed to be infinitely elastic. Therefore, the output is solely determined by aggregate demand. और इस principle को हम बोलते हैं effective demand principle. Therefore, the correct answer is 3. Nominal interest rate. We are aware that what is real interest rate? The real interest rate is nominal rate of interest upon the rate of inflation. So what should be the nominal rate of interest? It should be real into inflation rate. So real interest rate into inflation rate, yani ki option number 1 is correct. Let us move on to question number 13. Value of MPS is increased from 0.4 to 0.5. Now we are aware that multiplier is inversely related to MPS. We know that the formula for multiplier is 1 upon MPS. हमें मालूम है अगर MPS बढ़ेगा तो multiplier की वैल्यू कम हो जाएगी. यहाँ पर MPS is increasing from 0.4 to 0.5. इसका मतलब multiplier की वैल्यू कम होनी चाहिए. तो size of multiplier would be increased? No. Size of multiplier would remain same? No. Value of multiplier is undetermined with the given information? No. The size of multiplier would be decreased? Yes. So the correct option is option number 4. Multiplier की वैल्यू कम हो जाएगी अगर MPS की वैल्यू बढ़ेगी तो. Paradox of thrift. Now children, you must be aware कि paradox of thrift क्या होता है. Thrift का मतलब saving. And paradox of thrift कहता है कि अगर कंट्री के अंदर सारे लोग ज्यादा सेव करना शुरू करेंगे तो ओवरऑल सेविंग बढ़ने की बजाय कम हो जाएगी. यानी if all the people tend to save more, the overall saving in the economy will tend to decrease or it may remain unchanged. Now, in the first statement, they are talking about saving and investment, which is incorrect. If all the people increase the proportion of income they spend, yani they are talking about spending and saving, the total value of the saving will not increase if they tend to spend more, yani save less. No, this is also incorrect. If all the people in the economy decrease the proportion of income they save, if all the people tend to save less, the value will not increase. No, this is also incorrect. If all the people tend to save more, the total value of the saving will not increase. It will either decline or remain unchanged. Absolutely correct. Therefore, the correct option to the question is option number 4, paradox. यानी अगर इकोनॉमी में सब लोग पहले के मुकाबले अपनी इनकम का ज्यादा प्रोपोर्शन सेव करते हैं तो सेविंग बढ़ेगी नहीं, या तो घटेगी या उतनी ही रहेगी. Dash, let us move to question number 15. The blank represents what has actually happened. Now you are aware, actually, यानी होने के बाद, यानी ex post. You are aware, ex ante का मतलब होता है planned और ex post का मतलब होता है actual. Therefore, the correct answer to the question is option number 2, यानी कि ex post. 16th question पर आते हैं. If the value of investment multiplier is 5, an increase in income is 800 crore. Now, you have to find out the change in investment. हमें मालूम है. Multiplier is delta y upon delta I. यानी कि 5 is equal to delta y. How much is delta y given? 800. Right? हमें क्या निकालना है? Delta I. So how much will be delta I? 800 upon 5, which gives me 160, यानी 160 crores. So the correct answer is option number 4, 160 crores. Next question पर आते हैं. Which of the following statements are true? Quantitative tools control the extent of money supply by changing CRR. You are aware that cash reserve ratio is a type of quantitative tool. इसका मतलब statement A is correct. There are two types of open market operation, outright, upright. No, this is incorrect statement. A fall in the bank rate can decrease money supply. नहीं, अगर बैंक रेट गिरता है तो आपको मालूम है क्रेडिट चीपर हो जाता है जिसकी वजह से मनी सप्लाई बढ़ती है. सो ये स्टेटमेंट भी इनकरेक्ट है. Selling of the bonds by RBI leads to increase in quantity of reserves. Now let us check this. अगर RBI bonds बेचेगा, इसका मतलब the people will be buying the bonds and giving the money to RBI, so RBI के reserves बढ़ेंगे. इसका मतलब statement number D is correct. And RBI can influence money supply. We know that it is the controller of money supply. Therefore, this is also correct. Hence, our A, D, and E, these three options are correct. So, correct option is option number 4, A, D, and E. Let us move to question number 18. Match list 1 with list 2. Bank rate. What is bank rate? We are aware it is the rate at which the central bank lends the money to commercial banks, right? And repo rate is the rate at which securities are pledged by the commercial banks with the central bank for repurchase. We also know that reverse repo rate is the rate at which the central bank accepts the deposits from commercial banks. So, with D, we have option number 4. With repo rate, yani C, we have option number 1. With bank rate, a minimum rate at which funds are provided for long term. इसका मतलब with A, it is option number 2, and marginal standing facility, option number 3. So A2, B3, C1, and D4. That means my correct option is option number 2. Which of the following is not a function of central bank? Pay the attention here, children. Not. It controls the money supply through different rate. It does that. तो ये तो function है. It acts as a banker to the government. ये भी function है. It accepts deposit and give loan to the people. No, RBI does not have any relationship with the general public. It does not deal directly with the general public. Therefore, option number 3, that is acceptance of deposits and giving loans, is not a function of RBI, central bank. Hence, that would be the correct answer to the question. Article 112. We all are aware that 112 deals with union budget, and therefore the correct option is option number 3. Let us move to question number 21. All those elements which create liability or decrease the assets. आपको मालूम है, anything that reduces the asset or increases the liability is a capital receipt. राइट फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर गवर्नमेंट बोरो करती है पैसा तो उसकी लाइबिलिटी क्रिएट होती है, पैसा तो मिल रहा है यानी रिसीट तो है, बट एट द सेम टाइम लाइबिलिटी इज इंक्रीजिंग. या फिर अगर गवर्नमेंट डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करती है तो एसेट्स कम होते हैं, पैसा मिलता है लेकिन एसेट कम होते हैं. इन दैट केस ऑप्शन नंबर 1, दैट इज कैपिटल रिसीट, वुड बी द करेक्ट आंसर टू द क्वेश्चन. Arrange the following elements in correct chronological sequence. Now let us check this. Okay. Smithsonian Agreement, Bretton Woods, establishment of WTO and gold standard. Children, you are aware gold standard was somewhere in 19th century it started. So I think this should be the first one. Then Bretton Woods Conference, this happened in 1944 if I'm not wrong. Then Smithsonian Agreement, this was somewhere in 1970s. And establishment of WTO was in 1995. Therefore, D, B, A, C should be the correct sequence. D, B, A, C. D, B, A, C. Option number 2 is the correct one. Right? Let us move further. Under the flexible exchange rate, when the price of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency increases, यानी कि डोमेस्टिक करेंसी का दाम बढ़ रहा है, तो देखिए जब डोमेस्टिक करेंसी का दाम बढ़ता है तो इट कुड बी ईदर रीवैल्यूएशन और इट कुड बी एप्रिसिएशन. But we must remember that revaluation is associated to fixed exchange rate system, whereas appreciation is associated to flexible exchange rate system. Now it is very clearly mentioned flexible. Therefore, my correct answer is option number 2, यानी appreciation of domestic currency. आगे चलते हैं. You have to match list 1 with list 2 in question number 24. Pegged exchange rate system. You know that this is an alternate name of fixed exchange rate mechanism. Managed floating system is the alternate name for dirty floating. The third element in BOP is error and omission account. And Bretton Woods Conference was basically done for the purpose of setting up IMF and World Bank. Therefore, A2, B3, C1 and D4. A2, B3, C1 and D4. Any option number 2 is the correct one. 25th question पर आते हैं. Casualization of workforce would result in, if the workforce is being casualized, what does it mean? The people, the proportion of the population which was earlier engaged into regular salaried jobs or self-employed opportunities are now moving to casual jobs, which will increase the vulnerability of the workforce. Therefore, it will be increasing the vulnerability of the workforce. The people will become more vulnerable to poverty, right? Therefore, question number 25, the correct option is option number 2. Choose the correct chronological sequence in ascending order. Again, we need to arrange them in sequence. You are aware NABARD was established in 1982. FRBMA Act was passed in the year 2003. Third 5-year plan का duration है 1961 to 66, whereas the RBI was nationalized in the year 1949. इसका मतलब D, C, A, B. D, C, A, B. Right? D, C, A, B. इसका मतलब हमारी ऑप्शन हो गई ऑप्शन नंबर 4. अगले क्वेश्चन पर आते हैं. डैश implies that resource extraction is not more than the rate of regeneration and the waste generated are within the absorptive capacity of the environment. अभी एक्चुअली ने दो चीजों को मिक्स कर दिया है, राइट? जो इसका पहला स्टेटमेंट है, रिसोर्स जनरल एक्सट्रैक्शन इज नॉट अबव द रेट ऑफ रिसोर्स रीजेनरेशन, that is the part of carrying capacity, and waste generated are within the assimilative capacity, that is absorptive. I will go with the first part of the statement that is mentioned and I'll mark it as carrying capacity, right? Government of India enacted Right to Education Act in 2009 to make free education fundamental right for all the children in the age group of, this is the question from Human Capital Formation, you are aware, 6 to 14 years. RTE, any right to education, makes it mandatory for the government to provide free and compulsory education to all the children in the age group of 6 and 14. So the correct answer is option number 2. Following are the sources of electricity generation in India. Arrange them in correct sequence on the basis of total power generation capacity, highest to the lowest. Now, you know that most of the electricity or in our country is generated through coal, yani thermal. If I want to be precise, it is more than 65%. Yani almost 67% of the electricity is generated through thermal. 15% almost is generated through hydro. New and renewable resources comprise of solar, etc., which is almost 13%. And nuclear energy contributes only 2 to 3%. Therefore, it should be BDCA, 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 which means the correct option is option number 4, BDCA. Arrange the following items in correct sequence. Competition Act 2002. It is the act that replaced MRTP. FEMA 1999. FERA, that was a predecessor of FEMA, 1973. And MRTP 1969. So it should be, okay, DCBA, DCBA, DCBA. Oh, there is, I think the markings are ऊपर नीचे 1 2 4 3 लिखा है, but I'll go with DCBA. That has been written 3 here, so I'll go with DCBA, right? अगले क्वेश्चन पर आते हैं. Great Leap Forward campaign. This was introduced in China. You know that in the year 1958, under the leadership of Mao Zedong, this was introduced. The basic purpose of Great Leap Forward campaign was to make China an industrialized economy. And under this, the government encouraged the people to establish industries in their backyards, and also commune system was established. So the correct answer is 1958. चलिए अगला क्वेश्चन यही आ गया है. ग्रेट लीप फॉरवर्ड कैंपेन, माओ जेडोंग, ब्रंटलैंड एंड आर कॉमन फ्यूचर. Great Leap Forward campaign, as I told, the objective was to industrialize the Chinese economy at a massive scale. Mao Zedong was the one who introduced great proletarian cultural revolution in the country. Brundtland Commission was basically formed for protecting the future generation, and our common future seminal report that explains sustainable development. Yes. So D is 4, C is 1, A is 3, and B is, no, A is 2 and B is 3. So 2, 3, 1, 4. 2, 3, 1, 4. A2, B3, C1, D4. That means the correct option is option number 2. Second phase of Green Revolution is termed from. You are aware that first phase of Green Revolution in our country was in the mid 1960s to 1970s, which was immediately followed by the second phase. Yani ki second phase was 1970s to 1980s. So the correct option is option number 2. During the 1980s, ये 34th question पर आ गए बेटे. During the 1980s, growth rate of Pakistan improved on account of which of the following reasons? अभी NCERT में बहुत clearly mentioned है. It was not because of any technological change or export or FDI. It was just a luck by chance for Pakistan. It was happening because of a good harvest. फसल अच्छी थी तो उनका ग्रोथ रेट इंप्रूव हो गया. फसल बेकार हो गई तो ग्रोथ रेट 90s में आकर के फिर से कम हो गया. So the correct answer is a good harvest. 35th क्वेश्चन पर आते हैं. अगर सेल्स में एक अनएक्सपेक्टेड इंक्रीज हो, व्हेन देयर इज एन अनएक्सपेक्टेड राइज इन सेल, यानी जितना प्रोड्यूसर्स ने एक्सपेक्ट किया था सेल उससे ज्यादा हो जाए, डिमांड उससे ज्यादा हो जाए, तो प्रोड्यूसर्स की इन्वेंट्रीज कम हो जाती हैं, उनके एक्सपेक्टेड लेवल से कम. सो the correct answer should be there would be an unplanned decumulation of inventories. Inventories will fall, right? Below the planned level, inventories गिर जाएंगी. So the correct option is option number 3. During festive season, the currency deposit ratio, you are aware what is currency deposit ratio? नाम से ही पता चल रहा है. The ratio of currency in the country and deposits. Now, let us interpret the question. अगर फेस्टिवल सीजन है तो आप जानते हैं फेस्टिवल सीजन के दौरान लोगों का खर्चा बढ़ जाता है, और अगर खर्चा बढ़ेगा तो डिपॉजिट्स में से विड्रॉ करके दे विल बी स्पेंडिंग मोर, विच इंप्लाइज कि करेंसी का प्रोपोर्शन बढ़ेगा और डिपॉजिट का रेशियो कम होगा. तो ओवरऑल करेंसी डिपॉजिट रेशियो विल increase. So the correct answer to the question is option number 2, that is increases. European Monetary Union was created in, you know that all across Europe, barring a country or two, पूरे यूरोप के अंदर एक कॉमन करेंसी भी चलती है which is called as euro, and this union was created in the year 2002. So the correct option is 2002. 38th question पर आ गए हैं. Identify the correct statement in context of circular flow in a two-sector economy. Now, what is circular flow in a two-sector economy? You know that there are households, there are firms. Households, firms को factor services provide करते हैं. Firms, households को finished goods provide करती हैं. Factor services के बदले में firms factor payments देते हैं, और हाउसहोल्ड्स प्राइस फॉर फिनिश्ड गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज पे करती हैं. नाउ लेट अस सी दैट कौन सी ऑप्शन करेक्ट है. हाउसहोल्ड्स रिसीव फैक्टर सर्विसेज फ्रॉम द फर्म. नो, दे गिव द फैक्टर सर्विसेज, यानी ये स्टेटमेंट इनकरेक्ट है. हाउसहोल्ड इन्वेस्ट व्हाइल द फर्म सेव. नो, इट इज द हाउसहोल्ड्स हु सेव एंड फर्म्स यूजुअली इन्वेस्ट, यानी ये स्टेटमेंट भी गलत है. फर्म्स प्रोड्यूस गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, दिस स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. And household supply factor services to the government. अब क्वेश्चन कह रहा है टू सेक्टर इकोनॉमी. टू सेक्टर इकोनॉमी में तो सरकार होती ही नहीं, इसका मतलब देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट. सो ऑप्शन नंबर 4 इज आल्सो इनकरेक्ट. Therefore the correct answer is only option number 3, यानी firms produce goods and services. 39th question पर आते हैं. Identify the correct set of statements. Ex ante saving represent what is actually planned to save. Ex post saving represent what is actually planned to save. Ex post saving depict what has actually happened. Ex ante post saving represent what is actually saved. I don't know कि क्या सोचकर किसी ने क्वेश्चन सेट किया, बट एनीवे ex ante saving represent what is. अब आपको मालूम है ऑन्ते का मतलब क्या होता है? प्लान्ड, राइट? पोस्ट का मतलब होता है एक्चुअल. नाउ इफ आई लुक एट दिस, ex ante saving represent what is actually planned to save. If I ignore actually in this, yes, plan to save, so according to me option number A is correct. Ex post saving represent what is planned to save? No, it is actually what is happening. There is no question of planning in it. So B is incorrect. Ex post saving represent what has actually happened. This is absolutely correct. Ex ante saving represent what is actually saved. No. So this is also incorrect. So A and C are correct statements. Therefore option number 2 is correct. Anyway, let us proceed further. आगे चलते हैं. Match list 1 with list 2. Annual financial statement. ये बजट है. What is the main budget document? That is an annual financial statement. Capital receipts. क्या होती हैं capital receipts? जिससे या तो assets घटे या liability बढ़े. Asset कम हो, liability बढ़े. Capital payment या capital expenditure. Asset बढ़े और liability कम हो जाए. और export minus import. Right? It should be either export minus import or export greater than import, which implies that it is trade surplus. So it should be A3, B1, C4 and D2. A3, B1, C4 and D2, which means correct option is option number 2. Now the rest of the two are like 10 questions. The ones which are left, they are case study based question. One is from Indian Eco, another is from macroeconomics. Let us read it. In our quest to increase agricultural production during the last 5 decades or so, we almost totally neglected the use of compost and completely switched over to chemical fertilizers. The result is that large tracts of productive land have been adversely affected. Water bodies, including groundwater system, have suffered due to chemical contamination, and demand for irrigation has been going up year after year. Farmers in large number all over the country have again started using compost made from organic wastes. In certain part of the country, cattle are maintained just because they produce dung, which is an important fertilizer. Earthworms can convert organic matter into compost faster than normal composting process. This process is now being widely used. Indirectly, the civic authorities are benefited too. Why? Because they have to dispose lesser quantity of waste. All right. So very easy case study. How is civic authority getting benefited? Because they have to dispose lesser quantity of waste. The last sentence, correct option is option number 4. 42nd question पर आते हैं. Choose the correct statement. Earthworm take equal time to convert organic matter. No, they take lesser time. So option number 3 is correct. Earthworm take lesser time to convert organic matter. This is written here. You can see earthworms can convert organic matter into compost faster than normal composting process. So option number 3. Next, water bodies including groundwater system have suffered due to, is it because of biocomposting? Is it because of chemical contamination and increased demand for irrigation? Yes. Water bodies including groundwater system have suffered due to chemical contamination and demand for irrigation. So the correct answer is option number 2. 44th question पर आते हैं. In certain parts of the country, cattle are maintained. Now it is written here. Cattle are maintained only because they produce dung, which is an important fertilizer and soil conditioner. Option number 2. Next question पर आते हैं. 45th. What should be the suitable title for the above passage? Should it be biocomposting? Are we talking only about biocomposting? No. Is it biopest control? No. Is it about chemical fertilizers? I think the best option should be traditional knowledge and practices, because we are going back to our roots, right? All right. Let us come on to the next paragraph. Okay. India has been an independent economy before the advent of British rule. Though agriculture was the main source of livelihood, yet country's economy was characterized by various kinds of manufacturing activities, and India was particularly known for its handicraft industry in field of cotton and silk textile. These products enjoyed a worldwide market based on the reputation of fine quality of raw material and the high standards of craftsmanship. Economic policies pursued by colonial government were concerned more with the protection and promotion of economic interests of their home country than with the development of Indian economy. Let us just look at the questions. Before British rule, India was known for which manufacturing industries? Cotton, silk, khadi, cotton and engineering, cotton, silk, metal, precious stones and engineering. You are aware, khadi was not there, engineering products were not there. It was majorly for cotton, silk, metal and precious stones. Therefore, option number 3 is correct. What kind of interest was the colonial government concerned with? Were they concerned with our development? Were they wanted to promote handicraft industries? No. They were just interested in protecting the interest of their home country, right? So provide protection and promotion of the economic interests of their home country. So option number 4 is correct. Choose the economists who estimated India's national income and per capita income. You are aware, हमारी एनसीईआरटी में 5 नाम दिए हुए हैं. दादा भाई नारोजी, विलियम दिग्बाय, आरसी देसाई and VKRV Rao, right? So it should be Dada Bhai Naroji, William Digbai, VKRV Rao and RC Desai. I think this Bernier is by mistake typed here. Okay, wait. Findlay Shiraz also. Yes. So correct option is option number 2. Bernier आपको मालूम है विजिटर थे हमारी कंट्री में जो दूसरी कंट्री से आए थे, तो इन्होंने कोई एस्टिमेट नहीं की, जगदीश भगवती जी ने नहीं की. तो 5 इकोनॉमिस्ट के नाम जो हमारी बुक में दिए हुए ये रहे: दादा भाई नारोजी, विलियम दिग्बाय, Findlay Shiraz, VKRV Rao and RC Desai. That means option number 2 is correct. 49th question. What was the country's growth of agricultural real output during the first half of 20th century? Last sentence देखिए. most output during the first half of 20th century was less than 2% coupled with a 0.5% growth in per capita income. So, less than 2% coupled with 0.5%. Where is it written? Less than 2% coupled with 1.5%. No. Less than 2% coupled with 1%. No. Less than 2.5%. No. So less than 2% coupled with meager 0.5% growth. Yes. Option number 4 is correct. Right? Last question पर आते हैं. According to the passage, which of the following statements was true about Indian industries? Indian products were of inferior quality? Not at all. Were promoted by the colonial government? No. They enjoyed a worldwide market based on the quality of raw material and high standards of craftsmanship? Yes. And Indian products raw material for primary goods was imported? No. So, option number 3 is correct. Right? That is all about this particular paper. Children, you can see the paper is not at all tough. It is just that you need to be more concentrated. You need to read the between the lines. You need to read the questions carefully. All the best for your examinations. Thank you.